Yeah, let me start with the Andean perspective. I think every environment shapes the way a culture develops. And the Qero are up in these mountains, 17,000 feet, 14,000 feet, way, way up in the sky. And it's cold, and there's not a lot. And they terrace, as you've seen the pictures, their agricultural program is to put rocks around the mountains so the dirt doesn't fall away. And then they plant in those terraces. They walk llamas and alpacas. They're very, very connected to the earth, very connected to the open sky, but most importantly, they depend on each other. They have to be collective. They have to be a community to survive the cold weather, to survive the food ration, the limits on food. So at the core of their worldview is this concept of munai, of love, of being, coming from munai. And I watched a talk recently by a translator, one of the Qero translators, and he said, I'm speaking to you in English right now, but when you speak in Quechua, which is the language of the Qero, English is a language of the mind, and we're having a conversation mind to mind. He goes, but when you speak in Quechua, you're speaking heart to heart. He said, even when you don't like somebody, they're still your brother. You're like, brother, I don't like you. There's this sense of there's always this community, always this sense of connection. And so you need each other, so you're not sending magic darts at each other. You're not undermining each other. You're not putting curses on each other. So all that kind of stuff is not even part of really of the mindset, at least as I've learned it through Juan and Yvonne Nunes de Prado. Juan spent a lot of time with the Qero and with three main teachers of the Andean tradition, and they essentially what they taught him was the darkness that you're perceiving is what you are creating in response to the external world. So you can slow your Sami down. Sami is Kausai in the created world. So Kausai is the immaterial world, and then in the created world, a subset of the Kausai is called Sami. It's a very refined form of Kausai that's used for creation. All of us are made of Sami. Everything we have is made of conscious living energy called Sami. Humans have the unique capacity to slow their Sami down because they're in conflict with each other. Because they're like, I'm strong, I can do this. Oh, I'm scared. At the same time, they're always sort of presenting a persona, but also not really expressing their Inca seed. And so, whenever we're out of alignment with ourselves, whenever we feel, threatened, whenever something is gnawing at us, we'll slow our Sami down, and it becomes what we call hucha. And hucha is not considered negative. It's not considered evil. It's just slow Sami. So it's on a spectrum. This is where I come back to physics. It's interesting to me. Like if you think of a light spectrum, there's red light and there's purple light. They're just different frequencies. We can slow our high vibrational Sami down to a low vibrational Sami. So the idea about external things being scary and making, attaching to you is conceivably a perceptual issue. Our reaction to something being out there that we feel threatened by can slow our Sami down to where it feels heavy. And we will say that thing is attaching to us, making us heavy. But in a sense, we've slowed ourselves down. It's our own hucha, our own slow Sami that we're reacting to, not an external force. And so what the Andeans would say is any of that stuff, even no matter what it is, it's Sami. It's created out of Sami. Only humans have hucha. So it's not going to get into your field. Your field is sovereign. Nothing can get into your energy field, your pokpo, without invitation. in the Andean tradition. It's absolutely, it's not like a impermeable fortress. It's permeable. Sami comes and goes all the time. And so there's this sense of when you go into fear, you create sort of a rim of hucha that makes you more separate. So you start to be less connected and less engaging, less in aini, in reciprocity with the outside world. So this, the idea of there being external forces, there being ghosts, there being these things, what the Andean tradition would say is maybe they are, maybe they aren't, doesn't matter. It can't enter your field. If you're feeling something about it, just pull more Sami from the Kausai Pacha over your energy field and bring it back up. Or bring some Sami up from the earth and feel supported by her if you feel scared. There are tools, and I can tell you how to do each of these things. It's very simple. To keep you in that sovereign place, so that even if there is stuff out there, and that's debatable, we can have all kinds of, who knows, right? But in the tradition itself, it would say it's not, you don't have to, it's not going to penetrate you unless you invite it in. Like I hear people say, I'm carrying my ancestors, I'm carrying the trauma, all these kinds of things. And what I say to them, and what the Andeans would say is, you don't have to carry it. It's a choice. This is what I love about this tradition. It's always a choice. There is no victimhood here. You can say, that's actually not mine to carry. I'm going to put it back outside my bubble and let whoever it is work with it on their own. My mom will probably grow by working her own stuff instead of me carrying her. Ancestral stuff, the buck stops here. I'm going to make changes in the way that I do things from a conscious place. I have choice. I can choose not to continue to molest or not to continue to abuse. I can make those choices. So it comes from this place of raising your consciousness so you can see what the things are to choose and to not choose. And then just running Sami to keep yourself clean and clear, to raise your vibration when you drop into creating hucha more than anything, more so than something attached to you and I got to clean it off. It's more like I'm reacting to something outside myself that's making me feel small or insecure. So I need to boost my Sami back up because I lowered it, because I went into this fear place.